Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is MIKEKINGBIZ, the voice of RVA business media. At MIKEKINGBIZ, we celebrate the idea that business makes society better. On behalf of the whole MIKEKINGBIZ ecosystem, we say a big thank you.
Children's Hospital Foundation, the Henrico Foundation, Jacob's Chance,
40,000 minutes of broadcast time donated.
Beyond Boundaries, the Virginia Down Syndrome Association,
Nonprofits telling their story, maximizing their impact.
I'm
looking at that.
The Chesterfield
Right off the bat. But then after that, we're letting the Remembrance Day. I'm sure you've been in the real thing where, it's very structured.
Yes.
It ain't it.
Okay. I like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. Mike King here, coming to you from the Call Federal Credit Union Media Center, powered by Icon Realty Group. We're coming to you from high above Henrico. Yes, I've moved. So all my friends who are still continuing to go to the South Side, the Midlothian studio, I'm sorry for you. You've been warned. I know you guys. For 6 years, I came to you guys. Now you guys have to do a road trip. Sorry. Alrighty, so here we got... so for people who know me, I got a relationship with Sheltering Arms. Shout out to my man, Samar Lemons, who is out there. You can follow him on his social media, Samar Lemons. He did a radio show with me called the Lemon Drop, where he talked and interviewed people who were doing big things in the community. And part of that journey was at Sheltering Arms. So I got to give a shout out to my man, Michael Sparks, Phillip Noel at Underground Kitchen. I'm sitting at this formal table. It was a lot for me. We got multiple court. I'm from Philadelphia, so I'm not out there hobnobbing with the hoity-toities. For people who know Philadelphia people, that ain't us. Madam, Dr. Jewel is here. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Tell us who you are and what you do. That way we can get to the good stuff.
Okay. Well, so I'm Dr. Dianne Jewel. I am president and CEO of Sheltering Arms Corporation and Hospitals. What is helpful for listeners to understand is that there are several companies whose first name is Sheltering Arms. We're all related. Sheltering Arms Institute is the clinical piece of our work. So that's our hospital out in Goochland, our 8 area clinics that provide outpatient therapy. That's where Samar would have started. We have Sheltering Arms Foundation, which is our development arm. So they raise money for our good work. And then we have Sheltering Arms community programs, for which I am solely responsible. Those are adaptive and medical fitness and day recreation services for people with physical disabilities.
So you had started as a physical therapist. That's a
I
training.
did.
Now you go into the administrative side,
Sure.
the business side of it. What's it like when that part you're doing the work? You get the gratification, a person's doing, that's the physical therapy work. And then all of a sudden you come to the business side, since this is a business show. A lot of times it's not all that huggy, there's tough decisions that have to be made. Why was that? Why'd you go to that, ma'am?
Well, one thing that being in a leadership role in this environment is that in some ways I get to touch many more people than I would touch every single day if I were still practicing. But the real trick to it is to remember our mission. Our mission is to serve people who need physical rehabilitation programs and services, regardless of their ability to pay for them. So we have a robust financial assistance program. And as long as my eyes are on that mission, then I get the reward knowing that I'm helping my colleagues deliver the quality of care and service people need.
How can people get information about Sheltering Arms?
Well, websites are the easiest way.
Okay.
If you were to get on your favorite search engine, Google is mine. So if you were to Google Sheltering Arms Institute, that would take you to a webpage that describes our hospital and our clinics. We provide the care there in collaboration with VCU Health. So that's our joint ventured business. If you just Google Sheltering Arms, you'll find our community programs. So again, our fitness program, Samar, in fact, has been a member of our fitness programs as well. Our day recreation program.
Okay.
And then you can find Sheltering Arms Foundation by searching Sheltering Arms Foundation.
So a lot of times when I deal with whether it is someone in the medical field, we're dealing with grief, we got a grief educator in the building. People show up to your place at the worst time.
They do.
At a very tough time. So what is it like when they come in and all of a sudden you see the light come on? Because you're dealing with our good friends over at the Ronald McDonald House. You know, it's not just a sick child. You're dealing with the whole family who has. They show up there and eventually they realize that they found a police. They found an organization to help them because their world came to an end. Or either they've been in this care, they've tried, they didn't know. What's it like when that light comes on?
Well, I often say that physical rehabilitation is an investment in hope. And so our role is to help reveal the opportunity and hope that lies in any situation. And to your point, it's not just children. Adults who suffer a stroke, a brain injury, a spinal cord injury, they lose a part of a limb, they're grieving that loss. And it affects the whole family, not just that individual. So our job is really to care for the entire group and help them step by step see that there are still possibility in their future.
How long have you been a CEO?
I'm wrapping up my 6th year.
Okay. So that will put you right around COVID time.
Exactly.
Congratulations, ma'am. What did you guys as an organization learn from COVID? Whether it was here or in the industry, we never did that. We would never do that. And all of a sudden you found out, you know what? That thing kind of works.
I would say that, 2 things happened for us. We actually opened our then new hospital just over the line in Goochland County in June of 2020, in the middle of the
Congratulations.
pandemic. No vaccines, no treatments available at that point. We were successful in doing that without any outbreak or any kind of transmission problem for the infection. So we're very proud of that. I think the biggest thing for us was to be very open with our team members about what we knew, about what we didn't know. We gave them the ability to also provide information about what they were seeing, what seemed to be working, what didn't seem to work. So it was really a group effort, not a top-down, we're going to do it this way, it has to be that way, because we didn't know what we didn't know. And everybody had access to some kind of observation or information that might be important.
Okay. We're here, Sheltering Arms is in the building. We talk to business leaders all the time, and we ask them about culture. How do you, because a lot of times people can't tell you what's good culture. People may stumble over it. They might have an idea here or there. But if you ask me about bad culture, where they can give you chapter and verse, they can tell you, how do you set good culture in an organization?
So one of the challenges we had when we formed our new partnership with VCU Health was to bring 2 cultures together, because team members from both organizations were coming to work at this new hospital.
Okay.
The leader of the clinical enterprise is someone you may have met, Alan Lombardo.
Yes, he was there the day we were at your house.
Yes, very good. So Alan is really the person who was given the responsibility to blend the 2 cultures together.
I didn't know that's what his role was.
He is the leader of the institute. So he too is a physical therapist, but he has a remarkable ability to see the positive aspects of even the most difficult situations and to call them out and to encourage the team to do the same. So he really gets the credit for bringing together two different groups of people into a unified culture and team over the last six years. We just celebrated our 6th birthday.
Congratulations on that. And I could feel, now that you said that, he did seem like a clinician, like a person in the medical. So I tell people, The Army gave me a wife, medic, LPN, turned into an RN 46 years ago. I found my wife with scrubs on. So you know what? When I see people with scrubs, I give them a thumbs up, like, thank you, gave me a wife, Uncle Sam. So I really appreciate that. When we go to your facilities, you just get the feeling that, keeping the morale of the troops up, and people show up, and your people really just uplift the folks who come in. Because I asked, when I'm there with Samar, I'm like, it's just like he just raves about the folks over at Sheltering Arms. As the CEO, and so the program here is 60% women who follow us. And I had a panel not too long ago on women CEOs. It's a different job. Man, I had a lady tells me my husband is a fine gentleman, but he wears one hat, maybe two. Like my wife does not give me, a lot of responsibilities, because something, and the people who know me, they were like, okay, Mike, let some of those go. Women wear a lot of hats.
We do.
On a regular basis, juggling, you're momming, you're working, you're doing all those things. Ma'am, hold on a second. You got to give us some words of encouragement. We don't have a budget like Sheltering Arms. It's $5 store for my granddaughter Isabella. We'd like to thank you very much. All right, ma'am. For the young women entrepreneurs, CEOs out there, some words of wisdom, because you guys have to, juggle a lot of things at once.
Well, one of the things that's important for us is that the person who created Sheltering Arms in 1889 was a woman who didn't have the right to vote, didn't have a college education, didn't work outside the home, but she saw a need in the community and she rallied her friends and allies to create Sheltering Arms. If she can do it, we can do it. We have so many more advantages in this day and age, but it does take seeing a need or an interest. It takes focus. It also takes some flexibility. You might be surprised at where you find yourself. Never once did I say out loud, I want to be a CEO someday, and yet here I sit. Because I was able to weave together different opportunities that had come my way over time, weave together different connections, get to know Sheltering Arms very deeply and believe in the mission, and all of that helped prepare me. So I would also say keep your mind and heart open.
One of the things, so we do, at a time I was in the medical field, I love that medical field. I love being able to help people, all those things. As I was telling Monica about earlier, my wife she would like patient care. That really wasn't my thing. I like the emergency. I worked in emergency rooms. It's fast paced and there's nothing to do, but there's a definite beginning and end period that you're dealing with people. And so it is that environment. When you go between different organizations in your group, you run into different environments. What's it like? Okay, so now I know maybe they're on the best behavior because you come in, but you hear about what's going on all the time for people saying, I went to your place and man, they did this for my cousin, they did this for my mom. Touch on what that feels like, because we got to get the next generation of caregivers.
We do. Right now, we definitely need nurses, that's for sure. I think it's helpful to remember that working in a healthcare environment, wherever your calling is, whether it's in the emergency room, whether it's in the delivery room, whether it's in our spaces where rehabilitation is happening, you're in there helping a person who needs support, needs guidance, needs your expertise, recover their lives in some fashion. Maybe not exactly the way they used to be, but you're helping somebody get back to a purpose, to a family, to a role, to engagement in life in the way that they can. That is very rewarding, but it's also so important because our ability to be successful as communities depends on people like Samar, who has a profound spinal cord injury. But he's not letting that stop him from making a positive impact on the world. And my job and my colleagues' jobs is to help people like Samar see that they can still have that very important impact. That's an amazing contribution in my mind.
Shout out to my friend Beth Murphy over Bryan and Stratton, pushing out nurses into the workforce. We'd like to thank her for that. When you look at so you deal with the medical side, but you also deal with the business side. Two totally different things. Touch on the business environment that you see in Richmond and the surround. And what's the footprint for Sheltering Arms?
So we have a 144-bed hospital that is in the far west end. It's just over the line in eastern Goochland County.
Okay.
We have 8 clinics that provide therapy services that are in the metro. So we have 3 in Chesterfield County, we have 1 in Hanover, we have 2 or 3 in Henrico, and 1 in the city right now. So we're, drive the beltways around, and that's where we are.
Okay. Do you ever look at expanding?
We do.
And when you're looking to do that, how do you pick an area from a business standpoint? You say, okay, we're going to go and put something there.
Part of it is looking at what the population and demographics, look like in an area. So we know Chesterfield County is growing like gangbusters. Okay. So the question is, who's moving there? What are their healthcare needs? Can we make a difference for those folks? How old are people? A lot of this is not by individual, but there's publicly available data that we can look at that says
community.
Yes, or you can look and see where are 55 plus communities being developed or continuing care communities. All of that informs our thinking about where we think we can make a difference and add a clinic to do that.
So Mike King, Dr. Jewell is here with us. There was a time when you were, an upper comer. You'd walk in and you'd see, oh, that's that person. Oh, that's that person. Ma'am, now you're that person. So what's it like, when a friend of mine, and she was there that night too, Jennifer Montague from the Columbia Gas.
Yes.
And she said, I'd heard her say, a lot of times women are over-mentored and under-sponsored. They can tell you how to get there. Oh, we ate ramen for, 29 weeks in a row. But that's it. But them getting you into a room that you're not in, that's the sponsorship part.
Mm-hmm. Well, and another word that I use often is finding an ally and being an ally. So for me, when I started in this role, what I told the team was that I viewed my job as I'm here to clear the way for your success in whatever role you have. So I think for anybody, men or women, having a philosophy about what your leadership approach, about what you hope to do, helps. Now, if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you're just really getting started in a profession, it might take a while for that to form, and that's okay. I would say don't be afraid to walk up and stick your hand out. If you're in a group setting, a social setting, a business setting, and there's somebody who you want to know or somebody you admire or somebody that you think, oh, they wouldn't want to talk to me, first of all, you'd be surprised. Learning what the journey is for people who are just getting started helps us understand our own team. It helps us realize that just because I've, gotten to this point in my career, I work with many more people who are just like that shy or, quieter person who says, oh, Dr. Jewell wouldn't want to talk to me. I absolutely want to talk to you. I want to understand where you are, what you're dealing with. If you have questions about my journey or you think I can help you, then let's talk about that. That for me is allyship or sponsorship.
Let the church say amen. Because a lot of times people think you're unapproachable. I mean, and it no matter what level you're at, but Richmond seems to be the kind of place where you can, I've only been here since 2014, but, the community's been open and people will talk to you. So congratulations on all that you have going. So for a group that's out there, the foundation part, explain that to us.
Sure. So the woman who founded Sheltering Arms, when I said she rallied friends and allies to create a free hospital, because that's what it was all volunteer. And we took donations in kind to support the hospital. But over time, community members who had some resources left money to us. That money was invested over many, many years. And then when we formed the partnership with VCU Health, that was the first time that we actually organized a true capital campaign and put together a development team. It's currently led by a man named Mac McElroy. And their job is partly to help raise money. I mean, that is the principal job, but really they're ambassadors for our work because they're the ones out and about in the community talking about what Sheltering Arms is, what we do, why it's important to invest in it, why people should be happy that it's in Richmond. So they talk to people about making donations. They talk to companies about making donations. But just as importantly, they spread the word about our work. And you need evangelists out there to help really connect with the community who might not know the name or what we do.
As my dad would always say, changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free.
Nope.
Money got to change hands somewhere. And it's also good to have friends.
It is.
So that's the idea. So anytime that you want, I always joke with a friend of mine who's in development, Nanette Shore, I'd say to you guys, hug people until some money falls out. And clearly, and she's like, Mike, don't say it like that. But really, when people want to change, when you want to impact people's lives, sometimes, we need the friends who can go ahead and, and give us some resources so that it can help the next person. Mm-hmm. So, Artie, ma'am, one last time, how can people reach? Do you guys have anything big coming up that we need to know about?
Anything big coming up? So in March, we'll come back around about this, but every other year we host a gala called The Power to Overcome. And that is really where we showcase some of our former patients or clients, as well as team members, the work that we do, their journeys. It's not a full black tie event, but a, nice dressy cocktail kind of event. We serve a plated meal. So we'll be getting the word out about that. Coming up sooner, September is, and I don't remember the exact dates, but there's a week in September that's National Rehabilitation Awareness Week. We have a giving day associated with that. And we have events going on all that week. So if you follow our social media, that's probably the easiest way to find us. If you follow Sheltering Arms Institute or Sheltering Arms on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, you'll see announcements about all our events.
Yeah, I see you guys are all over the place.
We are.
You have to let people know what you're doing, because as many times as you think you tell people, someone will say, so exactly what do you guys do? And I'm like, you've never seen the TV commercials, you've never seen on social media. So we'd like to thank you for coming on the program, ma'am. As I always say, folks, make sure you support Sheltering Arms and all the folks out there doing amazing things. You can follow me on social platforms, which is On the Mic with Mike, MIKEKINGBIZ. That's where we are. And as I always say, make sure you take care of our sponsors and advertisers, because, as I always say, the microphone ain't free, and my grandkids need stuff. Yes, they do.
My name is Isabel, and you're listening to MIKEKINGBIZ. Hubby, that's my scam.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just have to say I was, obliged to play that. My wife makes sure that I get that in there so I can remind people. On Mike, Dr. Jewel has to go. Thanks.
MIKEKINGBIZ, the premier business media brand
covering and connecting Central Virginia. It's home to MIKEKINGBIZ Radio, producer of On the Mic with Mike RVA, which airs on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM, The Choice 105.3 FM, and worldwide on IBGR.network. Follow MIKEKINGBIZ for the best business-ish content in RVA.
Mike King here, coming to you from Matchmaker Business Breakfast Series. This is episode 1. The reason I want to do this is people wonder, how do you get seen? How do you get known? So that's what this series is going to be.
The main goal is to get you seen. That's what we all need today. Social media is fast-paced, it's growing, it's changing daily.
But if you're in a sales process or you're in client acquisition, we're letting people know you have to do that. And if you think you're doing too much, do some more.
Hi, I'm Nikki Vilesh. I am a hairstylist of 32 years. And that is my vocation. I did that on purpose. That's what pays my bills. And I accidentally became a fashion designer.
Hello, I'm Tamisha Williams. I say I'm a catalyst for sustainable leadership. So I help leaders thrive in their careers without sacrificing their wellness. And I do that through coaching and consulting services with both individual leaders and also organizations.
Hi, I'm Marquia Baker. I'm one half of NM Legacy Marketing. We're a social media management strategy firm where we take social media off the plates of busy business owners so they can focus on their business and know that their marketing is covered. We also do workshops and events for content creators.
I'm Jessica Schneider. I'm an elected official, but I am a community advocate, and anything that is heart-based is where I focus my energy on in our communities.
Our vision for the Hofheimer building is to be a place where all are welcome and can come celebrate whatever occasion. Always a moment to celebrate. So take the opportunity when you can. So that's been more of my strategy when it comes to marketing this building, right?
Well, thank you, ladies. One of the things I always talk about, and it's what I say my father always said, and people know, who say it's not what you know, it's who you know. My dad said, no, that's not it. It's who knows you.
Check it how you check it, say we going concrete. Nah, we just corner boys with the corner office. I'm at the cap table, what this is. Not that cap table, but we live this.
Promoting how business can make the community better. No one does it better than MIKEKINGBIZ. On the mic with Mike. Check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike, the premier business radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Call Federal Credit Union Media Center, powered by Icon Realty Group. Those are my people over there. We're coming to you every day, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. That's where you hear On the Mic with Mike, as well as Saturday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. I got the man back in the building. Quality Moving Services own Mr. Vincent Tucker. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you having us.
Yes, I appreciate you coming. And just so we're clear for the record, you did not show up here by yourself. You did not.
I did not. I have in the room this morning, Candy Evans, who's my vice president of operations. She does a fine job for us.
Exactly. That is our talking, but we're sticking with that because we all need somebody to make sure we run smoothly. Whether in business, you can't run things alone, and you have a long history in business, not just in business, but also on the philanthropy side. Tell us who you are, sir, and what you do.
Vincent Tucker, the president of Quality Moving Services, and we move things.
You move things?
Yes, we move residential homes, houses, condos, apartments.
Whole schools?
Yes, sir.
Wait, I heard that one. You know that things move? And then schools, and then big, when you worked at a place and you moved locations, you took your little things with you, and you showed up the next Monday, and your stuff was there, then you put your little things back. You're the folks who's making all that happen over the weekend.
We do.
When we're at home relaxing.
When there's a school that's closed or you're residents. We'll come in, move everything from head to toe. And if you want us to put everything back in place, we have the capability of doing that. We do.
Because the moving is the bad part. The putting the stuff back up is the horrible part.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, well, we've moved a lot because I was in the Army. So we moved 16 times.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. So we don't own anything heavy because, we can't move it for the most part, But that putting things back together, that's why you see people got boxes that have been sitting around
for years.
Exactly.
And they move them to the attic.
Yes. And the thing is, there's that box that's been sitting there. It was something important 10 years ago, but it's been up in the attic for so long. We forgot what it was. And then it's like, you get something new when we're forced to go to that box, or whether we're moving again, and somebody says, what's in there? Because we didn't write what's in the box. We said no. That would have been a responsible person.
But 10 years later, you certainly don't know what's in that box.
You surely don't. And there are other boxes around it. So you guys put things back up. So besides the movies, I know you from doing business with Quality Moving. That's how you guys operate quality. But you also do a lot in the community, too. Touch on why that's so important for you.
You mean as far as giving back to the community?
Because we're going to get this other thing you got, too. You're almost as well known for that. And that take a lot because you've been doing the moving thing for a long time.
37 years, absolutely.
But this other thing you talk about.
So there are multiple layers here. So we give back to the community in other ways. We collaborate with other nonprofits, even profitable organizations on things for the community. The community in which we are in, we're always looking to add value to that community, whether it's teaming up with Blessed Cookies Community Network and giving food back to the community, Cokes in the wintertime, etc., and other organizations as well. We don't always make these announcements, we just show up.
You just show up and provide a need.
Yes. And it's very important. It helps bring economic value to the community, and it's also a teachable moment as well for those who live in the community. You always have to give back.
There you go, Mr. Vincent Tucker. Quality Moving. As we move along, when we'd had this conversation before about how, when you knew you had something for the business, businesses go up and down. It's the curve that sometimes people make it, sometimes people don't. Touch on how you, operate with, your whole idea of corporate culture. There was a time you had your hands on everything.
Yes.
Had your hands on everything. You knew every move. You're standing there, it's you. Then you get a little bit removed. Then you get a little bit removed. How do you keep that culture of when Vincent Tucker's standing right there in my crib while the people's moving things out?
Well, if I show up and my people are moving, I'm probably going to help.
You're just going to start moving too.
I'm going to start helping and fine tune the move. Let me talk to you one-on-one, and we start, having a discussion, and you'll tell me about the value of these pictures, and this has been in my family for so long. I'm listening to you, although I'm learning from you. So I'll make sure that those things are taken care of while I'm there, and to make sure that level of professionalism stays there.
How do you groom the next level of leadership talent? So you see people come in, they're, okay, this is giving them opportunities. How do you groom that next level for a person who used to, they were on the moving crew, and all of a sudden you see they had a little something there. Okay, and now you start bringing them along, offering that's next level up. Because there was a time when Vincent Tucker walked in, I see you in a whole bunch of different kind of rooms. There was a time when you walked in and you were like, that's so-and-so. Oh, yeah. Now, you're that guy. And people are like, oh, yeah. I always wanted to meet you. I saw you on TV. I saw the things you're doing. How do you get that next generation ready?
You have to so everyone has talents and gifts. And if you're watching people long enough, you can kind of pick up on some of their talents and gifts. So you kind of chime in on those things in conversation and you kind of watch them and you give guidance as you go. They may not realize what it is, but we kind of notice people and watch people, particularly on our team. If you see someone who's attentive, you say, okay, he has a good eye for this. So if there's some putting stuff back together, to get that person. He's going to keep up with those screws. And that has a lot of potential on these larger jobs where you need that type of individual on those jobs who are detailed. So it's just a matter of watching, and then you can, see where they are as far as time and responsibility. Then you want to try to move them up to that next level.
How can people get information about Quality Moving?
Give us a call anytime. Quality Moving Services, 804-796-4860. She'll give you all the details, but just give us a call.
Google them.
That's right.
That's where we start. That's when you get to a certain point. You got history. It's not, they didn't just show up 2 weeks ago. Quality Moving. So you guys, residential, commercial, doesn't matter to you. You handle it all.
Yes. And, my one thing about this industry is everyone needs a mover. Everybody needs something moved sooner or later. You may have junk around your house, but we handle that too. Quality junk removal. Unwanted items is what I like to call them. And sometimes people need things moved around. We don't want this sofa over here anymore. We need to get this room rearranged, So those short moves, we handle those as well. So we just have to be open. And we moved the company recently. They had a big warehouse full of water. In fact, it was Henrico County. And we had to, collaborate with some folks that had some tractors and trailers that help us get all that stuff moved.
Tractors and trailers?
It was that Henrico County had thousands of pallets of water, and we need to get it done. So we have to be versatile. We have to be open.
Let's go back to the younger Vincent Tucker out there. When you got that first big job, like when you said we moved some water, all right, okay, we moved some water. Now you're talking about tractor trailers. I'm like, okay. What was it like the first time you were doing your thing and, business was good, and all of a sudden that one job came in, something came in that you hadn't pitched. Somebody came and found you. What did that feel like?
It was a good feeling to have someone call on you for your personal services, and you become a little nervous. What are their expectations? Can I handle this move? So 2 things I knew to have: plenty of blankets and a lot of manpower. And I remember being on jobs 22, 23 hours at a time. It was more than what we expected, but we couldn't stop it till we got it completed.
So, we'd heard that quality say something may go sideways. Maybe. In business, things don't go. But you're always going to work to make it right.
Yes.
People remember. They don't remember the things, but they just remember it ended up right. And that's what we're talking about. All righty, sir. So that's the Quality Moving side of the house. Did we get everything we were supposed to, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Did a decent job, yes.
Decent job. Keep striving. You guys might get to okay at some point. All righty, so 1 second. This next thing that we're coming to is big. I mean, the business aspect is big. This next one is, for us, for people, it's monumental. Hold on 1 second here. We spare no expense around here, ladies and gentlemen, for my granddaughter Isabella back in the day. The William Tucker 1624 Society. We know, like I said before we came on air, I know my great-grandmother. That's all I know. My dad used to make reference in Philadelphia talking about Geechees, thinking that was just, I don't know where he came up with that, but that was that. I know that part of my family history, and a lot of people are in the same position as me. Sir, you go back a very long way.
Yes.
Let's talk about that part of it.
The William Tucker 1624 Society started Probably around 2008, but it wasn't legal. I'm not going to say it wasn't legal. It was just my father and his siblings decided to come together, and we became part of the State Corporation Commission with all of our credentials around 2016, 2017.
Okay.
But the stories have gone from generation to generation, and that story is that we have always been here. And what that means is when that first ship landed at Point Comfort, which is Fort Monroe in 1619, our descendants were upon that ship.
Yes.
And so that word carried on from generation to generation to generation.
Somebody's people were on that ship.
Yes.
We didn't know whose people was on that ship, but now you figure out your people was on the one shortly thereafter.
Yes. Well, on that particular ship, the first ship that came to...
Really?
Yes. First
And
ship
it
that
got
came
even
to
worse
Virginia.
now. Okay. So 1619.
Yes. So for years, people always thought it was Jamestown.
Okay.
They talked about Jamestown.
Yes, that's what we knew of.
But an organization, Project 1619, did some deep, hard research and discovered that was incorrect, that first ship entered into Fort Monroe, back then Old Point Comfort, in 1619. They found the records. It's a real thing. So, but we have been told all along that we were part of that ship, our family. And so when I did a DNA test multiple years ago, it showed part of Africa that we came from, which was Angola. And so we just began to do more research and talk to more family members and kind of narrow down the story.
So your father and his siblings,
yes,
started to reach back. Now each one remembered Auntie so-and-so, and this remember, Nuke, and this remember Granny so-and-so. All of a sudden they had to get to a point, all right, we done went back a generation. We done went back to maybe the 20s or the 1900s. But you guys keep going, finding, this was that person in 1874. Then it really turns into something then, because you're starting to see and connect the dots. A lot of times families don't have the person to push forward with it. Or sometimes people are kind of leery about, this whole ancestry thing.
Yes.
And so a lot of times our people don't do it because it's kind of hard when there's not the paperwork to go. But then we start putting little pieces together, and you're able to go back to that first person getting here.
So you're correct of touching base with your grandmother, great-grandmother. So we were able to go back to probably the early 1800s, maybe into the late 1700s. But the stories were consistent from all of them, that we have always been here. And then we started finding certain nuggets, whether it's cemeteries or just talking to communities and things of that nature. It takes time and research. We have a cousin who's no longer with us, Thelma Williams. She also did a lot of work, most of the work actually, for us to get to the point where we're at now.
So you guys have celebrated that, and this has really turned into an organization that's well known, and you guys do a lot of things. You have some certain things coming up. What are we talking about?
Well, every year we commemorate African Landing Memorial or Commemoration Day. But this year is super special. We're right at 407 years of the first arrival of Blacks in the Virginia colony. Last year, earlier this year, we celebrated a memorial that's built at Fort Monroe. Now, on August 29th, those figures, statues of Baby William and Anthony and Isabella will be revealed. Now, the importance of the memorial is that Angola itself the granite, the concrete, the marble that's there came from Angola.
And you guys go back on a regular, is it every year?
We go to Angola every year. We built strong relationships with them. We talk to them about some of these projects, and we have joined forces. So several years ago, We're Better Together was our theme. And we showcase their input. We go there for their ideas. They come here for our ideas, and we talk about the history. And so that started the tour. So every year we go back, we meet with top officials. We are part of our sister cities and also Chamber of Commerce over there. So we see the many American companies that's there, Exxon, Chevron, Coca-Cola, many of them, because we're part of the same association. We see the growth of Angola, and we see how that country doing wonderful things. It's not just about gold and diamonds, it's everything.
So you go on a regular basis.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say you get used to the magic part of it, but you've seen it already. What happens when you get people go for the first time? You see that look on their face. First they're excited, they don't know what they're going to, and then all of a sudden they get there and realize that you're connecting the dots from here to there, and all of a sudden they're at the motherland, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow.
Yes. That's the reaction we get because they're not sure what to expect. But we start from a small point, and we just begin to talk about the current culture. We talk about the civil wars that they have had over the years. We talk about their independence. So we lay down a lot of groundwork so they can help understand. And as we go on the tour, all of it comes to light, and they begin to put the pieces together. So when they see a building is half tore down, we relate back to Ukraine, the Civil War. Okay. This is what happens. You have to rebuild after those things. And so Angola is just celebrating 50 years of independence. 50, only 50.
Exactly.
And so, but there are beautiful buildings there. They're building beautiful buildings and places to attend and to look at. A lot of history. And because of our connection with the government there, they have taken us deeper inside to look at libraries and to show us where the books are. You know, some of the books are in Angola, some are taken over to Portugal because they were part of that Civil War. So we get a lot of the insight of what's happening to ask and wonder why there are huts out in the middle of these certain areas. That is also explained to us. But it's a lot of wealth there, it's a lot of richness, and to see our people grow. And the only thing that they're working on, the biggest thing, is how do we communicate.
Okay.
So English is a problem there. Their native tongue is Portuguese. And so there are some barriers there, but we're all working on it.
Touch on the slave museum at the airport.
At their airport?
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you get support.
Two separate things, the slave museum and the new airport.
So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. See, that's what happens when you're communicating in real time. Okay, let's talk about the slave museum.
Okay, the slave museum.
Well, before you get to that point, I know I'm going to throw you off. History in America looks different for people down south than being from up north. It looks way different. You know, up north in Philly, we had Ben Franklin and Betsy Ross House, that kind of thing. You come to Virginia, like the slaves got off here. It's like, whoa, that makes it a whole lot different. And what you guys are bringing to them is you're bringing America to them. Like America may be a concept. So touch on the slave museum, and then we'll hit on the airport. I got to hear about the airport because, something special.
Okay. So the slave museum there gives us a clear account of what happened and how did they get in that position. And then to try to break it down, it's all about economics.
Okay.
It's always been about economics and free labor. So when you see the struggles there and how broad that enslavement went, And the reason why we were tricked into, and just kidnapped is a better word, to come here, we don't get the same story. We don't get the complete story here.
Okay.
But when you're in there, you can see this thing brewing, and you can see the many miles of people walking from the rural areas to the small boats, going from the small boats to the ships. But one thing, Mike, that people did not know is that a lot of people who may have walked that journey, they didn't make it, they're too old to handle that trip. They were put into a pit and burned. So when people talk about the Holocaust here and what happened to the Jews, well, listen, this thing happened to us in real time, a lot before, what happened to the Jews here in America. So this is part of the history we don't know, and it's not told. But when you go to not just Angola, but many parts of the continent, you will hear these stories, and it will give you a different reality.
For sure. So if Angola's 50 years old, and we know how old Africa as a whole is, are there things that they have access to that was before their independence? Like, are some of those things still there, or was everything, for the most part, taken away?
A lot of what was there was taken away. The Portuguese were in control. So a lot of the history, books or what have you, have been transferred to Portugal.
Okay.
There's a lot of resources that's still there. And one thing they have that will not go away, they have what is called sobers. Sobers are the men of knowledge in communities. And those stories are still taught today, just like if we were in the neighborhood. There was always someone, that person who could tell you the history of the neighborhood. So the sobers, every time we come, they're there to tell us about the history of that country, what took place.
Vincent Tucker here. How can people get information about this project here?
They can look us up at the William Tucker 1624 Society. We have a wealth of knowledge on our website. And they could just Google us and find out a lot as well. But we have a lot of programs coming up this month.
Okay, talk to me. What you got going on?
So starting August 22nd, Project 1619 kicks off. For them, it's called Enslavement Day.
Enslaved African Landing Day.
Exactly.
Enslaved African Landing Day.
That's exactly what you were going to say.
Yes. You know it,
I understand.
And they have activities throughout that week as well. But on our program, which is the 29th, we call ours African Landing Commemoration. Because we not only talk about it, but it also bring everybody. We bring in the indigenous people. We bring in all sorts of folks because this is America. Everybody had a part in this.
Mm-hmm.
But the governor will be there with us on the 29th. A lot of dignitaries, people from all over the world will be there because that day is the day we're revealing the statues of Baby William, Anthony, and Isabella, which we're descendants of. So it's a very special day. Throughout that week, there are many activities, there are lecturers. And so I also want to bring up some of our sponsors.
Hold on, because you know me. I showed the love for the sponsors. Changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. Money got to change hands. Hold on. Yes. Thank you to the sponsors. Who are they?
The National Alliance of Faith and Justice. We have Dominion Energy, Quality Moving Services. Guess what? The Better Business Bureau of Central Virginia.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you roll with Barry.
Yes, I roll with Barry. Virginia Credit Union, CNF Wealth Management, which is
Tanya
Battle and her team.
Shout out to Tanya Battle out there. So I know you roll with her too. I see you out there.
Yes, sir.
Hobnobbing with the
big K&HE Business Solutions, one of our largest donors.
K&HE, we'd like to thank you for making this possible.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, this is the whole idea about business helping society be better. And that's so there's a story that you guys have to tell, and for them to step behind it and get the word out, we appreciate that. So a young fella came in, and I was over at the University of Richmond, and it was this thing called Techstars, and he has this app to stop people from doom scrolling. So I asked him, he came to America, and he goes U of R, and I asked him, when you go back home, what are like a couple of things people ask you there? He says, does money grow on trees in America? And have you ever met Beyonce? We laugh with that one right there, but, okay, it does seem kind of outlandish, but that's what it turns into. And I asked him, what is it about America? He says, we studied English, so when I'm talking proper English, people don't know what we're talking about. So it's the view of America from foreigners. Another lady came in, Amagati came in a couple weeks ago, and she talked about being from Ghana, and she says she comes here, she realizes Americans don't know a lot of things because we're Americans. You get down with that, we don't know how to speak other languages for the most part. And she says, but when family members back there look at them, they think automatically you guys are at the land where money is printed. His money is printed there. And so it's that view that people have of America. Mm-hmm. But now Americans, especially our people, looking back going, there's that part of that history that most people don't get. So for you and your family, that talks about where you come from, like coming from up north, it's like we know what we know. Mm-hmm. Past, Mom Pearl, we don't know who Mom Pearl's mother was, or her mother had two sisters, or all those things that take us back generations. So congratulations to you and your family for going through that. And it showcases to another family, hey, we could do that. We just got to get somebody who can sort of open the door. So you got a big gala going. What you guys going to be all dressed up out there? I see you got Dr. Smith as a keynote speaker.
Dr. Jeffrey Smith is the Secretary of Education for the Commonwealth of Virginia.
And he got a story. He's an entertaining speaker.
Yes. And he also used to be the superintendent over the schools in the city of Hampton. So this is going to be a big day for us, a day of learning. And also the governor is going to have the children there speaking out there, calling out their ancestors. So we encourage everyone to bring your children. This is a good time to have a wonderful family day there, because there are going to be some, no, they're not going to be in the vendors, but we're going to have a wonderful time. It's going to be a day of learning.
There you go. Mr. Tucker is here. How can people get information about the society? Like we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to have that information available.
She's going to send me back and train
exactly, because
the William Tucker 1624 Society. Look us up, Google us, and you will find us. WT1624society.org. There you have it. And also on the 28th.
I'm glad you just remembered that.
Yes, Mike. I tell
you. It's funny how your memory just comes back.
A jazz night out. Scholarship fundraiser is going to be at the Embassy Suites by Hilton, the Hampton Convention Center, starting at 6 o'clock sharp. We do a big thing on scholarships. We give back every year to the high school students in that area. It is a big deal. And we're asking people to go online, Eventbrite, get your tickets down. This is our 4th or 5th year doing this. It's wonderful.
Don't wait to get the tickets.
That's right.
I don't know people wait to get the tickets. Go ahead and get the tickets. I always talk about the room to be in. We turn room. It's going to be fun. It is going to be over the top. I understand. Yes, I do this for a living. I take cues. I mean, it may be kind of awkward because, we have to communicate information. We get it right here.
That's right.
We get it right here. But you guys are doing something big, and don't wait to get the tickets, because we talk about being in rooms. You know, rooms, there are rooms and in there are rooms.
Yes.
And so what you're doing is you're going to be in the room with something historic. Like I said, it's history that's different than most people are able to put their hands on. Tell your kids where your people came from.
And I'll tell you another thing, Mike. It's going to be the Angola Embassy will be there on Friday night to help celebrate with us as well. And they decided to bring us some Angolan food, authentic food they're going to have there for us to sample and all that are in attendance. They're excited. We've been partnering with them over the last 3 or 4 years. It's going to be a night to remember.
Because I seen you got the pictures with you and with the leadership folks over there.
Yes.
I seen you.
Yes, we were with the Vice President of Angola back last month, actually, in July. She came down last summer. She was with the embassy. She called for us to have a meeting. And when we went back in July, we met with her. We have also met with the President of Angola. We stop in their province and meet with the governors there. So it's a big thing when we go back. It's a wonderful experience. Please come out and celebrate and join us at the Jazz Night Out Scholarship Fundraiser, August 28th. Starts at 6. Get your tickets early.
Get your tickets early. I got to work on the quality of the people that I hang around. You're just rattling off names and the president and the vice president and all those things. I started looking back and go,
Well, you're always welcome to join us, Mike, and I'll introduce you. Your people, my people, your people.
See, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're talking about. Vincent Tucker, Quality Moving Services. He knows that information because he doesn't need help with that one. You ever need any moving, make sure you contact them. It is hands-on service. It's the best out there. He has to go. We got stuff to do.
You are here, helping us give everyone the chance to live a longer, healthier life, free from breast cancer. You are survivors. You are thrivers and supporters. You are the heartbeat of the #1 breast cancer movement in the country. You are making strides against breast cancer.
Making Strides Walk of Central Virginia at Monroe Park on October 17th at 9 a.m.
This is the night that 10 years, 15, 20 years, you're going to be looking back and saying, I was here. There's an inflection point happening in technology. We get to lead it, and we get to lead it right here in Richmond.
We must prepare existing worker students and communities to be able to use AI so that no one is left behind.
The real story isn't AI itself. The real story is what AI makes possible. AI is the new keyboard. It's the new mouse. It's not the answer, it's the instrument. And the more people we hand that instrument to, the more possibilities we turn into realities.
People want to be together when you're making a difference. How can we make Richmond, make the region, and in part, all of Virginia, the most AI ready? A lot of people ask me, do we just want to be the Silicon Valley of the East Coast? The quote everybody keeps on having me re-ask is no. My mission is for Silicon Valley to be the Richmond of the West Coast.
At Jani-King, we get it. You need a reliable cleaning partner you can trust. With Jani-King, you're partnering with local business owners backed by over 55 years of expertise. Call or visit Jani-King.com today.
Mike with Mike. On the mic with Mike.
He's like a guru.
No, he's a businessman with a great radio show.
And he supports the nonprofits. Show and grow.
1 p.m. Friday, WNTW. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike King, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Call Federal Credit Union Media Center, powered by Icon Commercial Realty, coming to you from high above Henrico. Hey, we got one of the new rising stars in the community here. She's like a Renaissance woman. She does like aerial stuff and a storyteller and a project manager. Madam, tell us who you are and what you do.
I am Amber Coles, owner and principal consultant of Genuine Radiance. I created this strategic consultancy firm about 4.5 years ago, and I specialize in storytelling, project management, and strategy.
How does all those go together? Like that seems like the perfect storm. I can see, so you're a storyteller. You got a background in media.
I spent 6.5 years with the best team in Richmond, WTVR.
Shout out to good friends over at CBS 6. Alrighty, when you were there, what was the big takeaway that you learned from your time at CBS 6?
That is where I actually honed my project management skills. I like to tell people that I sat in chaos, and that's a good thing because we're in news, and we're in news. We're doing 12 different things. I was a newscast director, and what I tell people in lay terms means I press the buttons to put the things on air. But when I'm in that seat, I have 3 monitors I'm looking at. There's a whole wall of monitors. I got a producer I got to handle. There's audio, there's field producers, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I have to manage all of that seamlessly before we get to break. So it's kind of where I honed nothing phases me anymore. I've been in the situation where there's breaking weather and it's, 12 inches of snow outside. I've been in situations where there's a school building on fire down the street. I've been in all those situations. So there's nothing in an environment outside of that would ruffle me.
One of the things we see when you're in that business is if a person says 45 seconds, because you're giving a countdown when you guys are going back on air. If you say in TV media business, if you say a person has a minute, they think, man, that's a long time. I can go do this thing and get back to the chair and be not, because TV is exact. It's not like radio where we kind of will move it back in. We didn't do this thing, but we'll get to it. TV is precise.
Very precise. There's also a funny story with Julie Bragg about, I thought I had time.
Shout out to Julie Bragg.
I love Julie.
A friend from Virginia Down Syndrome Association, one of the dancers there when I was a judge. Okay, ma'am, so now you also do something interesting with this whole aerial talk about. That's with the scarves, is that right?
So I don't do silks, which is the two facts. It's called silks. I think you might have done a sling, which is kind of like a hammock situation.
I did a sling. It was not pretty.
It was not fun?
It was not fun and was not pretty because the video that came from it, I look bad.
He was like, I can't share this.
No, this one is going in the vault to stay there. Me and the thing turned upside down. And a bunch of people laughing at me. I was the only man there too, which did not help. It did not. Yeah, shout out to Heather Bailey, host of Sparrows. So if you want to be turned upside down and go, but they're called silks.
Yes, so I go to Soul Aerial, which is just outside of Hardywood. They have 2 different locations. I started doing pole. I took a pole class for my birthday years ago. This was 5 years ago. And then I accidentally was like, oh, there's also aerials. So we started with silks. Here's the thing. I'm a very smart woman. I don't like the fact that I have to concentrate hard enough to know how to wrap myself if I'm doing a drop so I don't completely fall out of the silk and onto the floor. I have mastered in Lyra, which is the hula hoop that's in the air. I've mastered how to fall and make it look like I'm meant to do it with that apparatus. I have not done that in silks.
Well, that just looks like it could be problematic.
Just a bit.
With the silks.
Yeah.
Okay, so and what's that called again?
My apparatus is called Lyra.
Lyra.
And we have a bunch of different apparatuses. So we have silks, there's Lyra. A couple of my girls do chains, which is literally just chains hanging from a point. There's Lollipop, which is the Lyra on a stick, if you will. There's pole, obviously, is an art. Sling, that a couple of my friends like to do. So we do a lot of different things.
So on that one, so the business side of it, what do you teach classes?
I do not teach classes, actually. I am just a student.
You're just a student, okay. But that's something that you like to do.
It is something, and I told this to Flynn Cross, who owns Soul Area, when I had a business meeting with her. The day that my grandma passed, I had class that night. And you would think okay, your grandma passed, you're not going to class. I had to go to class to do something to keep myself moving and keep myself together that day. So I went to my Lyra class that day.
So you've had the regular job, you worked over at WTVR. and now emerging on the entrepreneurship. I will always ask people, how long do you sit on an idea and to take everybody has an idea to make that idea happen?
I am a person that it probably is because I'm an Aquarius that I kind of go through all of the scenarios of where something won't work. Or you go through like different conversations in your mind before you actually have it to be like this could be that outcome. I do that a lot of times with ideas. I've been better at just kind of like setting an idea, creating structure around it, and then doing it. Case in point, because I worked in news, I don't like to be idle. I have to have things to do. And so in my downtime, which is crazy to say in my downtime, I host a podcast. I created a podcast called Suit, the letter N, and Screen. And next week will be the end of season 2. And I have to finish recording season 3 and edit it.
Okay, so what's the name of it again?
Suit in the letter N, Screen. And
what exactly is that?
So Suit and Screen, again, came out of just me needing to like do more things, but also try to piece together my love of television and movies and my love of consulting and what I do. So I take a television show or a movie and create a case study out of it in each podcast episode.
Okay. So when you're doing that, so that's what are you looking at, the business side of it or just the actual content of the show?
So for example, I love everybody, well, I can't say everybody, but I would think everybody's favorite Batman is Michael Keaton. And so I took Mike's face.
I mean, okay.
My favorite was Val Kilmer, but I understand that Michael Keaton is the greatest.
Well, maybe because I shared a birth date with Val Kilmer. So that would be mine. But I'm partial to the TV show Batman. Yeah. I watched Batman get darker and darker and darker and scarier.
Yeah.
As opposed to it was whimsical and ridiculous when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like that going into Gotham City got darker and darker. Oh, because I did tell you I interviewed Batman.
Oh yeah.
He's the West Virginia Batman.
Yeah.
He came and his wife was Wonder Woman and his daughter was Batgirl.
Oh.
And so he had a platform of bullying. And he had an anti-bullying platform.
Oh, that's right.
Come to the station, I tell him. He say, sure. And he has the Batmobile. I tell all my friends the Batmobile is going to be at ESPN Richmond. Well, the day that it happened, I see Batman, Wonder Woman, and Batgirl getting out of a minivan.
Not the Batmobile.
What happened? The Batmobile broke down. I'm like, who did it? The Joker?
Right.
I mean, like,
you couldn't take this to Wayne Enterprises and fix it?
How come you can't get it fixed? All my friends are disgusted with me now because they showed up. Here's Batman. And it was kind of fun. It was funny, but that's the idea. So you write a case study about Batman. What is it? The good versus evil?
So you would think. I took 1989's Tim Burton's Batman with the illustrious Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. And it is a case study on persona management. So one of the things as an entrepreneur and a solopreneur specifically, the greatest threat to yourself is you. And the greatest threat to Batman and Wayne and Bruce Wayne is Batman or Bruce Wayne. It wasn't the Joker. It wasn't anybody else. He was his own enemy. And so what we see from Batman is how he is able to use Bruce Wayne in certain situations and how he's able to use Batman in certain situations and how he's able to use both at the same time when he needs to. So how can you do that in your business and your personal life?
Okay. How does the young Amber come up with that? That's different. And maybe that's somewhere in journalism. Maybe that's somewhere in English. How do you come up with that idea? So, because you would think that Batman's and Bruce Wayne would be one, and their, opponent would be Catwoman, Mr. Freeze, or all those, the Penguin, all those. But you're looking at Batman versus Bruce Wayne at times.
Yep. I don't know. I grew up with up under my mom and my grandma. I have half siblings, but I kind of grew up as an only child.
You seem like it.
So I guess just had a lot of time to kind of create and be creative.
One of the problems that being an only child brings is there's nobody to tell you that your thoughts are ridiculous.
No.
There's no, so you run with them like it's normal.
Yeah.
I had a firearms expert, and he came to the studio, and I asked him, and I told him we didn't have 100 channels of nothing. So Superman was one of my favorite shows. I asked him why, as a firearms expert, when we shot Superman all those times, the bullets didn't do anything, and we resorted to throwing a gun at Superman. Like, why? Why? He said, because, what else could he do? He tried everything else. To me, that was ridiculous. If the bullets didn't work, now you're just going to throw it at him?
Yeah, I was like, that's not going to work either.
No, it's not. And we had to kind of laugh about that. I'm saying, there's somebody that did tell me that, Mike, that was ridiculous. When I'm laughing at that as a grown man thinking back to, 1968.
Yeah.
So I can see what you put together with that is outstanding. And I don't know if people really think about things like that. So you watch something, and then everybody, for the most part, everybody will come up with one scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that people are thinking about that whole, Bruce Wayne, Batman kind of pull. It's not like a good one versus evil. Both of those are good. They're good people, you would think.
I actually had a comment on, so an episode launched last week that I actually just posted, my favorite movie, Dead Presidents, and the case study there was the sunk cost fallacy. Because
hold on, ma'am, wait a second. Okay, 1 second, ladies and gentlemen here. We gotta do something on this. Amber Coles with the sunk cost fallacy.
Yes, sir.
That just sounds smart. All right, man. Tell us what that is.
So the sunk costs are the things that you believed would give you some type of value.
Yes.
And the fallacy is the failure of those things not actually giving you value. So in Dead Presidents, Anthony believed, that's Larenz Tate's character, if y'all haven't watched the movie in a while, he went to the Vietnam War, and he believed that going to the war, he did all of these things. He sacrificed a lot in that jungle. And he thought he would come back and be like, all right, cool. The red carpet's going to be rolled out. I'm going to have a job. I'm going to kind of get back to my groove. Not what happened. And so in his case, he and a bunch of people that he probably shouldn't have got together. Specifically Cleon. I'm talking directly to, listen, anyway, he got a bunch of his friends together, some from the military, some from back home, and we decided we were going to rob a Brink Spank truck. Now, in theory, the idea sounded great when he said it, when he was like, they just gonna burn all of this money. That's not how he said it. He had an accent with the burn. I can't do it, but Keith David is phenomenal, and I can't do that accent of how he said burn.
The run with Keith David when he's running and limping and holding, that's a classic scene.
Yes. But he did all of this, and at a certain point, he realized all of what I've put into being this person in the military, they're not giving me anything for it. Everybody else who went to the military got those accolades, but for some reason the Vietnam War was a little different. They didn't get those same accolades, and he was black, so that was also an added thing. So instead, he had tried, and now in the movie he's tried all the things. He's got a job. Things just keep slapping him in the face.
He didn't work with him and his woman,
Juanita. Oh, Juanita.
And that's my mother's name, so that hurt me even more.
Oh, baby. But it didn't work, and he got to the point where he was like, my exit strategy has to be to rob this truck. I don't know what they were planning to do afterwards. Like they told us, but I was like, I don't know how you thought you was going to get far after doing this, but it's what they did. But in your career or in your personal life, you don't want to get to the point where you have to rob a Brinks truck. Not literally, but I mean, get to that exit point of I got to pull out of my retirement, or I got to sell my car, or I got to do something like that. You want to make a plan before you get there.
Amber Coles, how can people get that information on you as well as to watch and listen to your podcast?
So the podcast is streaming everywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, Suit, the letter N, and Screen. My website is Genuine Radiance at genuineradiance.com, JenuineRadyance.com.
There you go. Amber Coles. We'll talk to you soon, folks. Thanks. Now take care. and gentlemen, Mike King here down in the big city of Petersburg. I got my man, the Councilman Howard Myers here. So I would say welcome to the program, but we're in your town.
Hey, Mike, thanks for coming to us.
Okay, so we don't have long to talk because this man is busy.
Oh, we running.
Okay, so exactly what are we doing down here today?
Mike, we're doing our grocery giveaway today here at Sycamore Towers. We're going over to Lafayette House, and then we're going to Laura Gardens.
Okay, and this is something that's done on a regular basis?
Regular basis, from now on through December. Through December.
Okay. And so we're inside, we have the footage. It's a madhouse in there. It is packed. People need help, and you guys are providing service.
I hear every day that their food stamps have been hacked. That doesn't help the person who needs food.
No, that does not.
No.
One of the things that we're talking about, and we've had a conversation, you are running for office once again. And this is a business show that people know me before. Business does help society be better. All those things have happened. You're helping people get food, get housing, all those things. Explain why that's so important to you, because you've done it for a very long time.
It's important to me as family and still. Up in Richmond, Virginia, over in North Side, that's what we did. We helped our neighbors, made sure that everyone had some need, especially our seniors, together, running toilets, all of those things back in the day. It was a promise from our family to always give them.
So today's a big day, but there's always things going on in the community here. Touch on really quickly some of the other initiatives that we have going.
Other initiatives here, so we've got housing, rent to own, we have down payment assistance, we have a plethora of food giveaways here, not only for our seniors, but for the entire city of Petersburg. We do our whole city thing at Mount Olivet Baptist Church on every first Monday from now until December. I'm there to July. Working on our infrastructure, our casino, and all of those things that are magical for us here.
It is a thriving business community. And so really quickly, touch on that first, because people think it's a casino. There's a lot more things happening in town.
This is how we're talking. The casino is not going to save Petersburg. It's going to be thriving businesses that help support the casino and the city of Petersburg collectively. This is not just about a casino. This is about a multitude of small businesses coming together to kind of continue to grow wealth here in the city of Petersburg.
That's right, that Councilman Howard Myers is here. You guys are having
town hall, I believe, August 16th.
We'll be down there, Phillip from MDO will be there. That's here. It's the madhouse down here in Petersburg. It is a thriving community with always helping the citizens who are in need. Mike King, Howard Myers, how can you find you, sir?
804-590-7988. 804-590-7988. Call the clerk of court, the clerk of City Council, Tangi Hill, at 804-733-2332.
See, ladies and gentlemen, he didn't just give you his email address. He said, call him with the phone, and he got it in his pocket.
I get my phone number out all the time.
That's what we're talking about. One of Mike Howard Myers. The man got to go. He got work to do.
Yeah, we got
Thanks, take care.
Thank you all.
I think if you don't understand financial literacy early on, you're starting in a hole. We're trying to set the mission that we are growing our credit union through the youth. We want to provide education, the products, the services, and all the resources they need to make financially healthy decisions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On Mike is Mike. Mike King coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Call Federal Media Center. We're coming to you from high above Henrico. Alrighty, folks, you can follow us on all social platforms. On the Mike is Mike, as well as MIKEKINGBIZ. We got the man, Phillip Mason, in the house of Icon Commercial Realty. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Now, people know us as Icon is one of the sponsors of the program. I'd like to thank you. But we're not here with that one today.
That's right.
We're not here. So a couple weeks ago, I invited you to an event, Techstars, out at the University of Richmond. Shout out to my man, Dale Fickett. Dale Fickett is like the most interesting man in the world. He has, whether it's those martial arts, it is technology, it is workforce development. He is the guy who has his hands in a number of things, and he puts on Techstars, which is a pitch competition. I go there, cool people, I invite Mr. Mason. It is on Friday. We see the pitches. People try and recruit. I leave. They work on it. I don't know what happened to Mr. Mason. I don't know nothing. I show back up on Sunday. Mr. Mason is part of a group. And I looked, I'm like, he stayed and became a part of this? But he didn't just become part of any group. Pollinators for Change. Mike Rabin is in the house. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, Mike.
So, like, you were laughing because we got history. You have been doing this good work for some years. Tell people who you are and what you do, and then we got to backtrack a little bit.
Well, our current work, Pollinators for Change, pollinators are the people who are connectors across the fields of social impact. And so pollinators are the folks who are already showing up, doing the right work in the right places and the right people. They can be spiritually oriented, culturally oriented, socially oriented. And Mike, we see you as a pollinator because you are an enormous connector of local and community-based business leaders. And you see what bringing people together brings to the benefit of our entire community. And you brought up Dale Fickett leading the Techstars Startup Weekend. It was everyone coming together that enabled everyone that came with a good idea to have the space and the platform to meet people and collaborate and to present and bring some of these initiatives to life. And without that startup weekend, Phillip and I wouldn't have met and been able to spend the weekend together, not only working on, what the latest developments with pollinators, but also these deep chats that we have at a spiritual level, at a community level around what is Richmond truly capable of? How are we already showing up to it? Who are the people that we can pull in? It's those exchange of ideas and spirit and relationship that really fuels this kind of community-based social impact work.
One of the things, Mr. Mason, when I saw you on that Friday, see you later, saluted you, I'm out, I'm going to the house. I've been out, it's kind of late out here for me, 5 o'clock or so. Then I'm here at 4 o'clock on Sunday and I see you. What was it about pollinators that drew you in?
Well, they had a whole gamut of different businesses.
It was all across the board.
Yeah, across the
clothing
board.
that you could exchange.
Great ideas.
Yeah.
Amazing ideas. But it was Circle Trust. That was his next step of the pollinators that kind of drew me in because it was the impact that I could see them making in the community, in the city. And when Mike began to tell us about the connections of these different sectors and what people had to offer, and answering that question about what happens when people don't have what they need when they need it, and I guess dispensing with just coming from a city or a federal level down to a community level. Like, how do we answer that? And the answers that I heard in that room were amazing. So I was like, I'm attracted to it because it is, to me, it's a spiritual base because you find connection to every person and then you value people for what they bring to the table. So.
One of the things we just like to give a shout out to Icon Real Estate for sponsoring the program and allowing us to be able to talk to Mike and Pollinators for Change. Mike, let's go back to 2018, 2019 when I first met you. What were you doing then? Because I was astounded by that then. And now I don't know whether this, how does that become part of your core, like that kind of work?
I come from a background where I've had a relatively privileged upbringing and education. And I've always been raised with a conscience for social justice. And when I studied political science and economics in college, it was around how do we make the world a better place. But I realized that the systems that I was plugging into for the first chapter of my career, I was in a corporate career, and there was a lot of things that we could do inside of a corporate institution to reduce the harm that was being done. But for all that we could do in the name of sustainability, corporate social responsibility, DEI, et cetera, I was finding we actually weren't really able to make a difference on the deeper systemic issues. And where our nation was going, with so much political divide, so much entrenched social issues in our society, I was asking the question, what is our plan for a sustainable future? Very basic question as a young person who wants to start a family, wants to, look ahead and know that we are taking care of these foundational things in our society. And what I increasingly realized is that we lack a coherent answer to that question across political divides and across even our academic systems. Weren't able to accommodate a inquiry into a purpose of business that aligns with the theories of and the principles of democracy under our Constitution and the principles of sustainability. And it was that intersection that I needed to study. And so I went to graduate school first, and then I found myself on an independent research journey and finding that where the work felt most real was meeting real people doing real work in real places with the right people. And it was from that I found the grounding of what working towards a sustainable future looks like. And then the human connection that I was a part of in 2019 to 2021, a working group called Regenerate Richmond that preceded Pollinators for Change, and now Pollinators for Change, is about developing the frameworks that help clarify when people come together in community, how our connections and coordinations can ultimately rise up to affecting systemic change.
A lot of times, I'm sure when you tell people that part of Pollinators for Change, I think people might get it. But you're touching on something that could be a touchy topic to some people that are, feathers may be ruffled. But in the end, I think people do want good. Touch on the atmosphere here in Richmond right now. It seems to be that people are open-minded. It's like you said, it's trying to go from the capital of the Confederacy to, the new Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from up north, and I find like once you kind of get out of like the DC bubble, there's like a breath of fresh air, and socially we can just be ourselves. We can show up as who we are, and Richmond is a place with a history that is kind of unmatched in our country for where we've been and the systems of harm around, just the founding and the eradication of indigenous peoples, the capital of the Confederacy, the Lost Cause movement, structures of racism. There is so much history that Richmond is actively healing and reconciling from where we are today. And it's moving here into Richmond in 2019 and seeing that progress happening in real time, like the unveiling of the Rumors of War statue in 2019 was one of these events that I found remarkably inspiring, and meeting people at the community level who are doing this foundational healing work, like Ashley Williams, people like Jenny Bell that are doing this foundational cultural work, the work of Richmond Hill doing this foundational spiritual racial reconciliation work. It's witnessing the people from the ground up doing this work that has been so inspiring that maybe the capital of Confederacy can be a center for reconstruction and an inspiration. Because if Richmond can change, it can serve as a model for the nation that we can all change and heal from our history and move forward in a direction where we can come together and work better together. So,
sir, we're both from up north, and we do move at a different pace than operates here in the South. Do you think sometimes that people kind of get that maybe people are pushing too fast, or, you guys are here, and whether it's the Northerners, whatever, it's just like there's a pace that we do things. There's a natural order, and now here you guys come in, turning up the apple cart. All of a sudden, we have to make change. We have to make it quickly, because as fast as Richmond is growing from a profitability or, an elegance or the cost of everything, it's booming. Richmond is a boom town. Part of the problem is the haves are running wild and they're having a great time. The have-nots are standing there saying, what are we doing? It's the same reason that I interviewed the person who ran GRTC some years ago, explaining why the bus needs to be free. Because if a person uses part of their money for the bus, they may not have money to go to something else. Or when we start looking at things like that, touch on the climate that we're in right now here. For you, Phillip, as well, why it's important for ICON to support a group like this, and for you, Mike, to talk about the moment in time right now here in Richmond.
In social impact work, there's an author, Adrienne Marie Brown. One of her books is called Emergent Strategy. And one of the principles of emergent strategy is that progress moves at the speed of trust.
Ooh,
so
I never heard that. That's a good one.
So this work's a little bit different from business, where it's not driven by PowerPoints and 5-year business plans. It's driven by relationships. It's driven by connecting at a deeper level and seeing within ourselves and each other our whys and our intrinsic motivators to do well and to do good in the world. We say with Pollinators for Change that everyone has parts to play in the making of sustainable futures. And we find people who are already activating around it. We build those relationships. We generate gatherings where people can meet each other organically and generate their own relationships and opportunities for collaboration. And then that's where the frameworks come in to really guide, okay, like we really align with each other. We're so different because we're activating out of our unique purposes, but we really align. We're exchanging resources. Like, you can come to my event. Oh, you got to check out this book. Oh, you got to meet this person. So there's this like non-financial exchange that's beginning to occur. And we have this framework called the GRACE framework. So it's like after the gatherings, which is G, after the R, which is resource sharing, the action starts to happen at the A, which is advocacy. And so it's like, what are we here to do together? What can we do together? And if we can answer that question, that's where we can build the C, which is the coalitions that are needed to represent comprehensive cross-functional solutions to leaders, whether they're philanthropic leaders or private funders, city government, state government, institutions that are able to really act on the possibilities that are rising up from the community around making real and sustainable change. And we also have the frameworks to back that up around how it really adds up in conventional economic thinking, how that saves money for the taxpayer, how that improves the performance, like how it raises up the social foundations of our society so that more people are able to contribute, whether it's through business or through community service, through their families, through their churches. Everything that people can show up for and serve society.
Mr. Mason, I see why you rolled with them. Touch on your part with this.
Well, I guess from a commercial standpoint, I believe that we help to make up the landscape of the city by working with business owners that have certain purpose-driven businesses. So just trying to bring all of that together and exchanging those resources, putting people on the right track, educating people about what they can do that they may not even thought of.
Correct.
So all that.
Alrighty, so Mike King, we're here. It is Pollinators for Change. Mike, you got to tell us how people can reach you, and then the big news that you guys are doing a documentary. Let's touch on how can people reach you.
So the work with Pollinators starts with getting connected. Like, reach out and share what you're doing, what you care about. When we meet people in person, we ask, like, what are you passionate about? What do you care about? We want to just get right to that level. Because when we're working, when we're doing this kind of work, we can't rely on federal funding or systems to save us. It's like we need to trust each other that we're going to show up through thick and thin and do the hard stuff together. So for those who are listening, our email address to reach out is hive, like a beehive, hive@pollinatorsforchange.org. Or you can reach me at mike@pollinatorsforchange.org, or our Director of Community Engagement, Allie Fisher, at allie@pollinatorsforchange.org.
I've met Allie Fisher before.
Yes, you have. Yeah.
Why is it all the cool people always doing a bunch of cool things? All right, so let's talk about this documentary. Hit me with it, man. This is interesting.
So this is a project that was inspired a little over a year ago, and it's being engaged with those who are doing these inspiring community projects, it's like the urgency was there. It's like people need to know what's happening here, not only like for the purposes of improving our community, but people need to know what like the real work looks like. The community gardeners, the healers, the spiritual workers, those who are working at the foundations of connecting us with our culture. And so it's like we need to find a way to put cameras onto this work. But it was talking about these ideas over the spring and the summer, where we met Patrick Mamou and Loria King, experienced documentary makers. Loria was born and raised in Richmond. Patrick has been making art and film here for decades. And it was meeting them and connecting with the Altars Festival and Barrett Holmes Pittner as well, who's a DC-based philosopher focused on Reconstruction. He selected Richmond to plant the Altars Festival, which is this idea that between Halloween and Thanksgiving, that it's an opportunity to celebrate our ancestry, because we all have ancestors as individuals, as families, as communities, as societies. And so to really deepen our cultural connection, the Altars Festival is about celebrating that. So the last 2 years, we've been doing the Altars Fest here in Richmond, and we've been inspired, along with Patrick's influence, to really align this documentary film called Reconstructing Richmond around this idea of Reconstruction. Because it was after the Civil War, at the start of the era of Reconstruction, when the Bill of Rights of our Constitution first became federally enforceable. And some really substantial investments, both structurally and legally, but also at the ground level, were made to raise up the foundations of our society. And that's where the civil rights movement is rooted. That's where a lot of our basis for public schools and public health is rooted. And so Reconstruction is this American idea of what it looks like to invest practically in the foundations of our society, and it's idea that transcends political divides, because it's really about practically what we're all about, because we're 99.9% the same genetically. We all have the same basic needs, whether it's food, water, housing, healthcare, education, healthy relationships, a sense of purpose. It's investing in raising up these foundations where we see like the real sustainable answers. And this documentary based here in Richmond is asking whether the former capital of the Confederacy can serve as an example for Reconstruction for the country at large. And the film leans into that as a question, because we still have problems here in Richmond, and we have incredible people and some examples of enormous progress at the same time.
Mr. Mason, as one preacher looking at another one, at that moment it's time to reach out for, the offering plate. So this is a business show, Mike. Touch on why, and I get accused of this sometimes, where it is the touchy-feely, oh, Mike, that's just kumbaya. Explain to folks why that the conversation there is good for business.
Well, if we're talking about like local and community-based business,
yes,
it's also about relationships. It's also about service and being present. And what this work that we're all about around social impact needs to be interconnected with the business community, because this is how our resources are circulating around all of us. So when funds are circulating in our community, that's good for local business, because local residents can spend on local business. When we're raising up the foundations of our society, less of our taxes need to go to social welfare systems, because people are activated. They're able to get the resources they need to serve, to contribute, and to participate in our business ecosystems or as consumers. And so across so many dimensions that are directly impactful for the success of business, and also directly impactful for our communities being lovely and purposeful to live in. Because business owners are also people with families, with religious lives, cultural lives. And so we need our business leaders, everyone to be healthy and well and connected. And so these fields are all about local and community-owned business leaders are the hardest workers I know, and they care so much. These are also about the support structures that everyone can benefit from, so that because we do business so that we can live better lives. And so it's really about so the community element.
I think what people think about when you're doing this type of work is giving everything away. But this is not about just giving everything away. It's about sharing resources.
Yeah.
But it's about also building trust as a business owner in a particular community.
Yeah.
So that people can also see that there are other things that we're doing other than just reaping. There's a way that we also give back. Yeah.
So, Mr. Mason, how can we get information about Icon Commercial, and explain to people, if you are a business owner, contact you for assistance?
Well, if you're a business owner and you want to contact me, you can always reach me at area code 804-306-3551. And that number has been the same for almost 30 years.
Really?
Yes. I've switched companies and everything else.
But the number went with you?
The number went with me. Yep.
That's what we call consistency, Mike. Is the documentary done?
So the documentary, we've been filming since November 1st, enough to launch some produced footage with a crowdfunding campaign. So we'd love everyone to check that out at reconstructingrichmond.com. And there's a link to our campaign on a site called Seed and Spark. So we have 2 3-minute produced clips of the film and an entire page dedicated to what the film is about and about us as the filmmakers, and why this film is rooted in community and how we're showing up. So we were at First Friday to launch the crowd fund. We were at the Rest Fest this past weekend engaging in the community. Even if folks can just follow that campaign on Seed and Spark, or give a little bit, because it demonstrates that we're here as a community to support this film, so that we can also represent it to the funders at a higher level that can help us produce this film at a level where it can really impact society at large.
There you go. On the Mike is Mike, the best business program around, because this conversation here is what we are, business-ish. It's the things that hold communities together. We'd like to thank Icon Commercial for being sponsors of the program and also supporting Pollinators for Change. Mike, it is good to see you. Now you know where we are. And I understand I didn't understand what you did back then. It makes sense now when you stop. And I think part of it is when people slow down for a minute, it starts to make sense. But we're going in a hyperactive world, going 100 miles an hour, and we're just catching bits and pieces of it. So, on the mic with Mike, we got another mic in the house. We'll talk to you soon, folks. Thanks now. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.